the Falcon and Winter Soldier. This is the big Sam Wilson, Bucky Barnes team up television show. Well, not really TV show. Forgive me. DC. Holy shit. Disney Plus show. I know what's going
fired.
on. I guess.
You're so fired.
Good thing they don't pay me for this. Take my clip-on tie off now and throw it at them.
There you go.
Disney Plus series. We had WandaVision, which I think was good, and Falcon and Winter Soldier. What were your overall thoughts of the show?
The first thing I want to say about this, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, it wasn't as good as WandaVision, or oh, it was better than WandaVision, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand that, like, the Marvel properties are just like any other property. They're just like books, or just like movies, like music. There's different genres within it.
Yes.
Like, Guardians of the Galaxy is like a sci-fi comedy. WandaVision was like fantasy. This is more like kind of an action drama kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really compare. them. They're different genres. You're not going to have like all the superpowers and stuff like that you have in like, WandaVision. But I will say, like, this was really well done, and it was really grounded, and I really like that about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that Kevin Feige and the people of Marvel can continue the momentum with the MCU. This was really good, especially from the standpoint of somebody who's been, been a veteran.
Yes.
It kind of gave me that like little bit of nostalgia that way. It's
sure.
Like, well, you want to do what's right for your country. You want to serve your country, but you've also got these obligations at home and like to your family and stuff like that. And I think that part of it was really good. I think that it was perfect the way they did it with 6 episodes where it was kind of just like short little segments.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to compress all of this story into this little amount of, episodes that they produced. And I think it was really well done.
Yeah. It's like, I think a lot of people who aren't in the military, think in a way like the Avengers. Like, it was interesting when Sam, he comes back home, right? And he's a hero. Anyone who volunteers themselves to serve the country like that, I think is a hero. And, it was amazing that he came back from avenging, if you will. And he had financial struggles, like I think a lot of people who serve do. And it was hard. It was like, really? He didn't get paid Tony Stark to, like he didn't have a salary or anything. Like, he was trying to get a bank loan, and they were interested in his celebrity, but they still weren't going to help him, And I thought that was I was like, man, that really sucks. Like, shit, I got all these movies I can show you what he did. Why?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like, Tony Stark's a dick. Like, he could have paid them, some wages or something. But yeah, I just, it was.
Well, I think.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Oh, I was going to say, like, without being too overly preachy or being too, like, PC or woke, I guess. It touched on a lot of issues that that somebody like with Sam's background would deal with.
Yeah,
it kind of dealt with like a little bit of, like the race in there, like kind of dealt with the poverty issues and things like that. Like I think it was kind of a good way of humanizing the character.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Instead of just making him a comic book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, instead of just making him like, this superhero who goes off and does all this stuff. And it's like, these are things you don't really think about. Like, how does Spider-Man pay his rent?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah. No, I definitely appreciate it.
I thought it was really well done. I think it was,
Yeah.
I think it was good. I can't wait to see what else they're going to come up with.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, with Sam's family, you got to see them, and Bucky's trying to make amends. That was really heartfelt, where he's hanging out with that Asian dude who I thought was maybe one of the Howling Commandos. I thought that would have been kind of a cool reveal, but then, he killed his son, so he was basically trying to work up to telling him. And so I definitely got that. Like, he's pretty much going to end that friendship once he tells him. But, he had a shrink, and that was interesting. I thought, he was trying to, basically he got the okay by the government, like, hey, you're back with us, and we're gonna take care of you. He's basically getting more taken care of than Sam was, I guess. You could say. That's what's shocking is like, and I get that's probably the beginning of them tackling racism, right, in this world. Mm-hmm. You could say that, or maybe it wasn't, but I did not mind them going there. It kind of was jarring just because the MCU didn't seem like a place that problem still existed, and maybe I was just like naive, but you had James Rhodes, who became Iron Patriot, and you had Nick Fury, right? And then Sam himself. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like, obviously, yeah, this issue would exist, but it was kind of like maybe too preachy for the universe it's in, like I think it would have been better if it was like subtle delivery,
Yeah.
And I'm saying, like, it's fine. It reflects our world. I get it. And I'm not denying that happens in our world. It just felt like, the MCU was kind of like its own thing, and that never really came up before. Of course, you never really had the time to address it. So it's something I don't hate about the show, but I do get criticism about it,
Yeah. I don't have any criticism about like the messages and stuff like that in it.
Yeah.
From like a viewing standpoint, I guess, like the final episode when he's like giving that speech to the senators or whatever, like that went on a little bit long. It was like, okay, yeah, you made your point. Now you're just beating a dead horse.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah, I think the points were made, and they were made well, but then just the overly like, like, all right, we get it, but maybe some people have to hear that though. I mean, probably should think of that, I guess.
Also, though, I think it gave us a bigger glimpse into the world of Captain America,
mm-hmm.
just because Captain America, he's this blonde-haired, blue-eyed Adonis of a man, this white guy, lived in Brooklyn,
mm-hmm.
whatever. And, he was this big hero to everybody. And then they made this, they kind of showed, well, like, he was the moral center for Bucky and for Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Sam and Bucky, they already kind of didn't see eye to eye to begin with. The thing that brought them together was Steve.
Right.
And now Steve's gone. And, you've all of a sudden, like, Sam's like, yeah, I don't think I'm worthy of the shield. Like, I don't think I should be the one to carry this. I think the legacy of Captain America should be just that, a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
He passes it on, and it gets picked up by some random guy. Yeah. And then this random guy turns out to be, not even remotely close to being able to
right,
keep up with the facade or whatever that
exactly.
Captain America portrayed, which I don't think anybody could. I mean, I don't think that's like reasonable for anybody. But I think that was kind of neat how they did that.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of showed like Bucky they showed him getting over his brainwashing in Wakanda.
That was cool. A great scene. Yes.
That was a very emotional scene for Bucky. And I thought that nothing in this show took away whatsoever from the characters.
No.
It just added to them. It was like that. Once in a while in the comics, they'll have a big story arc, and then they'll go back and show like a side story
mm-hmm.
that you never really knew. And I think that's what they're doing with this.
Right.
And then, Sam and his struggles, and then he comes across another super soldier that was basically tortured and imprisoned for 30 years.
Right. Isaiah Bradley. Yeah.
Yeah. And Isaiah was just like, you could see he's like, even with all this power, he's still a broken man that was
Mm-hmm.
kind of tossed aside and treated like trash.
Because he was experimented on. It wasn't like, Steve's experience, like they basically was a group of them. Yeah. And he just, he's the one that survived.
Yeah. So it was kind of like, I don't know. I think that just really drove it home with like the amount of pain that these characters have gone through.
Right. Yep. For sure. For sure.
I think it was important that they kind of tied it into today's issues a little bit without, I mean, it was a little preachy in some parts, but like the Flag Smashers, I kind of like sympathized more with them and with Carly than I did with Sam and Bucky.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes any sense. I mean, they were very, at least Carly was very sympathetic villain. It's
right.
Kind of like, yeah, okay, I get why you're doing this. You're just not going about it the right way.
Exactly like what Sam said. Yeah.
I think Sam really he didn't want to see it go down the way it did. And the fact that she died at the end, and he was just like, yeah, the bad guy was stopped. Thank you, Captain America. But, I don't think she should have been stopped. I think she was right.
Mm-hmm.
She just wasn't right in what she did.
Exactly. Yeah. And he was
how
close.
She did it.
Right. And he was close to getting.
And I think that was.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. He was close to making a breakthrough, and then John Walker, had to come on in and disrupt things. He's a Boy Scout. He's I thought that was a slap in the face.
Though, At the same time, though, I think it was cool that they just found somebody in the military who had a good record and had him be Captain America, regardless if he had powers or not.
Right, and he had a lot of PTSD before he got in there, so that's probably why he wasn't. Steve didn't experience war yet, with his. He's just a good guy to start with.
Well, and they went back to. They kind of did a throwback to Captain America, like before Captain America got his powers, like with the super soldier serum, like Erskine told him, it enhances what's inside you already.
Yes.
So good becomes great, bad becomes worse.
Right.
So I think John Walker, like just with his wanting to be the best and not wanting to be a failure, became like kind of more of a psychopath.
Yeah.
Just like, Red Skull became a dictator, and Steve Rogers became, Captain America.
Well, and he escalated. You understood where he was coming from. You understood his pain. He lost his friend, so I drove him over the edge. And then he calmed down. So he wasn't completely like a mustache twirling villain or anything. He like helped them. In the end, and he made his own shield, which I'm glad it got dented the hell up, because I was like, how the fuck can this guy make Captain America quality shields in his garage? Like what?
I mean, I almost like during the fight and stuff like that, when he's like throwing it around and everything, I'm kind of like, okay, why doesn't it just hit something, clang and fall to the ground?
Yeah,
instead of bouncing off.
Right.
That's not vibranium. It's basically just scraps out of a garage. But
right.
I did think that it was cool that he just kind of like, because I mean they stayed pretty true to the origin of U.S. Agent.
Yes.
With John Walker, I mean they treated him pretty accurately to the comics and everything. But
yeah, I thought Wyatt Russell did a great job as a character. I mean, people made fun of him in the beginning because of his, the helmet. I don't think was fitted right to him. It felt, and maybe that was intentional.
No.
Maybe it was intentional. But it felt loose in some spots. Like it wasn't tight on like Evans.
I think it looked better as the series progressed. The very first time they showed him in it, it looked like his ears were sticking out too far. Like
yes,
he had this big,
very goofy,
look on his face, and I was just like, "Who did they get to play this guy, Gomer Pyle? Like, what the hell's going on?"
But yeah, I mean, I think we all felt we got slapped in the face by that announcement in the first episode. With John Walker. Sam just turned the shield in and he thought he did the right thing.
Yeah.
and then of course Bucky was pissed off because he's like, "Why did you give it up?" So there's a lot to do with the shield that brings everybody together, pretty much. I thought that was pretty interesting, and definitely a lot more development with Baron Zemo. That was great. They're not.
I'm glad they brought Zemo back.
Oh yeah, and he had the mask and everything, and
the MCU has a very poor reputation when it comes to good villains.
Yes,
of killing them off. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
The thing you want to see somewhere down the line is like Doctor Doom team up with this person and this person to make life horrible for these people. You know,
right?
Like you want to see that in the future, and you can't do that if you're killing everybody. But
right.
I thought the whole Zemo thing, it kind of felt like he never really was captured to begin with, kind of thing, if that makes sense. It kind of had the same feel of like Loki, like he was captured because he wanted to be.
Right.
Like he was just kind of biding his time, and he knew that like at some point something was going to happen to get him out. But,
well, and he was ready to check out at Civil War, and then Black Panther stopped him. So maybe he's just kind of like fresh new look on life. Like, I'm going to have a little more fun here because, if I don't, what the hell?
And I think what renewed it is that he had kind of that prejudice against superheroes in general.
Yeah.
But against like super soldiers,
which you could relate to. I mean,
and then Sam and Bucky come to him and say, "Hey, guess what? There's more of them."
Yeah. I mean that's so interesting. Like these villains, you can relate to them. They're not totally bad, but they're not great either. But it's like there's a gray area where you're kind of like you meet them on like, oh yeah, I kind of understand what you're trying to do, but yeah, you're going at it the wrong way. That's the only difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
what'd you think about the reveal of Sharon Carter at the end?
I saw it coming, the power broker, and I have to look again, and maybe you caught this, but was Sam and Bucky aware she was a power broker as well?
I don't think they were.
Okay, because it was kind of like said without them around, right? And then they came around, and it's like, shoot off.
Well, and when Sharon confronted Harley, or when they were confronting each other, like as soon as Sam stepped in, Sharon was like, "Oh, I've been shot. Oh, Sam, help me."
Yes.
It's kind of like that, playing that damsel in distress kind of thing.
I didn't. Yeah.
But it's kind of like I want to see now, like how. I mean, I got the kind of like, okay, I'm been exiled to this to Madripoor.
Yeah.
And I had to do this to survive, but at the same time, like if you put people make the comparison between her and Peggy Carter, it's like, would Peggy have done that?
Right. And the words she said at the funeral, it just didn't seem like she would ever betray, her country or those people.
But I mean, there has been quite a bit of time that's passed since Civil War.
Right.
When she had to go on the run and everything. So she's probably got a darker outlook. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of like, when they started talking about the power broker, I'm like, it's somebody that they've already shown.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I suspected her.
I mean? So I'm like,
pretty much right away.
Probably her.
But I didn't want it to be, but I was like, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. I was like, it's either her or Zemo, and the power broker is a total separate character from Zemo. So
exactly. Well, a lot of people point out, like, why would she come back to America in the end? Because she risked getting arrested and all that stuff. And then some people think maybe she's a Skrull, which would explain so much about her villainous turn. Because Secret Invasion is coming. That show is being developed, so it's possible.
Yeah.
It would make a lot of sense, but where the hell is she? That's the question.
Yeah, it would make sense. I mean,
no stakes though. I get it though too. Like if you make it that, then yeah, there's no stakes. It's like, well,
yeah.
But I don't see her being that way. People have also pointed out that she supposedly was gone for those 5 years as well in the blip, because she's shown on like a holographic projection in Endgame. So I don't know if they retconned that, or someone else took her
Oh,
identity during those 5 years, maybe. So did we even
oh,
meet Sharon in this show? You know, is that just a total fraud, or is it only
yeah.
fraud
I
who
guess.
came to America? You know, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want her to be evil.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I didn't want
I
her.
guess I didn't catch that of whether or not she was involved in the blip or not. But I
But
guess I'll have to go back and watch that.
it's I think
But
it's not you can't it's not revealed that easily, like it's in the background, so I guess technically you could ignore that. You know, I don't know, or they just were mistaken, their data was
yeah,
mistaken. um yeah, definitely didn't oh gosh, what's her face, Julianne Dreyfus. She was, I was like shocked to see her in the show. I was like, whoa.
yeah,
But it's cool. It's cool. She's like a evil. Well, I don't know if she's evil. Nick Fury, kind of like, she's like recruiting. It seems like, Walker
yeah.
becomes
She's
U.S.
kind of like
agent at the end.
yeah. She's kind of it kind of seems like she's putting together a new Avengers
Yeah, yeah,
almost.
like a an anti-Avengers or something like that. Yeah, which I think,
Maybe she'll be in charge of the Thunderbolts.
yes, I think people are talking. Yeah, that would make sense, and that'd be great to see. I'd love to see Wyatt Russell come back as John Walker. The only thing I found kind of maybe just not, I don't know, to his character, he's at the end he seemed very happy to get this like PR persona, the U.S. agent. He's like, hey, it's black now. It's not a blue suit. It just felt like, you treat it more like this is an
Yeah,
honor, rather than like, isn't this cool? I was like,
yeah,
that kind of fell off to
exactly.
me, but it's okay. I forgive it. It's nothing's gonna be
It
perfect
was
to my
kind of like
liking.
it's kind of like he was landing an acting role versus
Yes,
position.
yes, he's very giddy. Yeah, and maybe it's the
Yeah,
serum doing its thing. I kind of wish Sam had the serum. I was, thinking about that the whole show. Like, can we have a Captain America
yeah.
without the serum? Like, I don't.
But at the same time, though, I think it was really cool how they did that without it.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Like
protected.
they showed him like they showed him like training and
Yes, yes.
just like beating the crap out of himself, like trying to
Mm-hmm.
be the best that he can be. And he's like, that was kind of his thing. I think that was kind of his thing with
Yeah.
taking up the mantle of Captain America is like, you know, there's always going to be that somebody that's saying on your left, you
Right.
know.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, I think it was cool how they did that, and then him getting his suit from the comics.
Yeah. Like right
That
out
was
of the
really cool.
comics. Like right out of the
Yes,
damn comics. Like holy shit.
I
They're not shying
I
away.
will say this. I will say this about the MCU: they're really good about making the suits and stuff comic accurate,
Right. Yeah.
like as closely as they possibly can in the realm of reality.
Reality. Yeah. For
But
sure. Oh man.
but yeah, I think it's really cool how they did it.
Oh, it was, and it was
Um,
like right away in that last episode. Like they didn't take their time. Like it was pretty much like boom, here I am, and I was like, whoa. I love the wings. Like he really does look like Captain America with the damn wings and the shield. And I was wondering how he's going to hold the shield. So that was cool how he was able to put it on his back. And
yeah,
the only thing that doesn't make sense, I know is comic accurate. I would like him to have a helmet like Steve's, but white, of course, because it's like, dude, the most important part of your head is exposed. Like you're gonna get you're gonna get throttled.
yeah,
Like
right.
put something over that. Like I think they could maybe they'll adjust it for next time. And, it's a nitpick, but I did dig it. Like it looked great, and it was definitely his own look. It wasn't like Steve's really, except for some of the color scheme, but the white really was like it was sharp. It was really sharp. And yeah, that was definitely like, we're going to sell toys at this moment, but that's okay. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that's okay. We're down for that too. But no, I dug it. I thought it was great, and I'm glad he finally embraced, and I'm glad he listened to Isaiah, but he also was like, I'm my own person. I've experienced different things, so I'll take what he says, but I'm not going to be totally like, there can't be a black Captain America, things like that. So I really liked how,
Yeah.
I liked how he said, he didn't like, he understood where he was coming from, but he wasn't like 100% right because, things he experienced working with Steve and things like that. That's what I got from it anyway. So I am glad, he finally embraced it, and him and Bucky together were great, a great team, and I want to see more of them. I really do, and I hope Sharon isn't evil, but maybe she is. I don't know. I mean, people change, but I don't know. I still want Sam to have the serum, but I get it. It's like they got to show like he doesn't need that to be Captain America. But it's like, it's just tempting.
Like I think they gave it to him in the comics to like save his life at one point, and then they retconned it.
Yeah,
where he didn't have it anymore, or something like that. I don't know. Well, of course, in the comics, he had like a telepathic connection with birds.
Right? So, they're like, nope.
So like they can't
86.
They can't really like you know explain that in the show. But
you know what they could do?
Yeah, I think it's
if he gets injured. If there's gonna be another season of Captain America and the Winter Soldier. See, that was another reveal at the end. That was cool. Made sense, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets injured and Bucky gives him a transfusion. Has to, and he gets a little more power from that. I don't know. I mean, you could go there.
Yeah,
it's possible. But I love Bucky how he's becoming more human again, and I got a kick out of all those kids trying to. I don't know if they're doing like push-ups with his arm, but they were all grabbing his arm and he was just like holding it out like it was nothing. Like that, I thought that was pretty cool. And I enjoyed that a lot. There's a lot of cool memes. When Bucky like tells the kids when he's laying on the couch, like, "What are you doing?" and they're playing with his shield. There's like a cool meme saying like, "I'm gonna be your dad," because he's flirting with his sister. I thought that was funny.
Oh man,
that was hilarious.
Yeah.
But because there's definitely something there. But I mean, Bucky's a charmer too, so
that's true. Yeah, he was already kind of a ladies' man before.
Exactly.
Even before he went to war. So
right. I think one thing that'd be cool. I would love to see Isaiah in action, like a flashback. I think that should be something they could explore, is some flashbacks. Like they don't have to be a whole series, but like how they used to have the Marvel one shots when they first introduced the MCU, sort of like that would be cool. Like give us like maybe 30 minutes of just like a mission, and like there's so many things you could do.
I'd like to see almost kind of what they did with Agent Carter.
Yes,
they do like a Howling Commandos kind of thing or something like that.
Yes, and
and then like go back and kind of explore that with Isaiah and everything. That would be kind of cool. But
and they're talking about Captain America 4 now, and Chris Evans returning, but I think he'd do his own movie. So I don't know if they would focus on him going back in time. Like that would be cool to see him, aged with the Howling Commandos doing some battles like in the 60s or 70s or something like that. That would be kind of cool. Or it'd probably have to be earlier than that. They'd be old, but I don't know. There's just so much they could tackle. And anytime they introduce like in Isaiah Bradley, it's like, I'm really intrigued to see the history there, I thought that was a good, and that's a character from the comics. They introduced that long ago. So, that's very groundbreaking. And again, I'm totally fine with the message. It's just, I just felt like it was odd. It was introduced now versus like, we've had moments in the MCU before, and I get that they don't really have time to tackle that. So obviously you can forgive that, but it is kind of odd. Like, I think it would have been cool if Rhodes came back at the end of the show and they talked about, what Isaiah said, or just some of the revelations they've experienced.
Yeah.
It just felt like, whoa, we're tackling this. Like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it was a lot of kind of like that don't look behind the curtain kind of thing. Like,
right.
You thought that, this wasn't something you would have to deal with, especially in a post-snap Marvel universe.
Right. Yeah.
But like, this stuff went on and nobody had any idea about it. And
That's true.
even Sam was pissed about it. He was like, he went to Bucky and was like, "Did you know about this? Like that they were exploiting people like this? Like what the hell?"
Yeah, because I was
of course,
totally
Bucky didn't really know anything, but at the same time,
right, because they battled. Yeah. No,
but,
I think I did a good job. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I was totally down for the message. It just felt more serious than normal, but I get it. It's a show. They're able to expand more, so totally fine with it. I just at times was like, man, I didn't get this sense before. Like, you think Nick Fury wouldn't get his position, with how they were saying it, but maybe it's just who you know. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, it's definitely, and it's dealt with. So now you can have movies and not really tackled again. It's there, but it's not like something they have to bring to the forefront again. So, but yeah, either way, I thought I had a good message, and whether or not it gets a season 2, I'm not sure.
I thought it was going to be a standalone, but I could be wrong on that.
Sure. Yeah.
But, I guess it's Marvel. I mean, they're always gonna.
I mean,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's so much, especially once we get more and more out of the pandemic. I think they're gonna explode again with all these properties, and it's gonna be all hands on deck. We got we got Black Widow coming, so that's huge, and that was supposed to, I think, come before these shows, so it'd be really interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, I almost think that, I mean, with everything that's been going on in our country and everything like that, I almost think that this came out at the perfect time.
Oh, Falcon?
This was supposed to come. Well, this was supposed to come out even before WandaVision did.
Oh, okay, wow.
And I think it just timing wise, it worked out well. I mean, it was right when the George Floyd trials were getting
right. Yep.
Getting finalized and everything like that. It kind of gave it to me. It kind of filled that hole that was left by Chadwick Boseman without replacing him.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But also at the same time, I think that, I mean, it's cool they did that. Yeah. Hooray. Now let's move on.
Right.
Kind of thing. I really hope this doesn't become a pattern with them. Each new series that comes out has a different message. Right. Shang-Chi is, about anti-Asian sentiment or whatever.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like watching the Oscars. You're like, God, who's going to talk about politics this time? You don't want that to become, it's keep my politics and my entertainment separate. But
right.
At the same time, I think they did it the right way.
They did, because it came from the comics, so it was explored before, and people wanted Iron Man to tackle Demon in a Bottle. So obviously, if he was still around and he was younger, they probably could do a show where that is an issue.
Yeah.
But they lightly tackled that. So yeah, I get it. It had the opportunity to do what it did, and it was an important message. And I'm glad. Yeah. It just felt maybe they should have kind of teased some of this reality in the world, but I guess that's kind of just something you take in. This is kind of supposed to be in our world, so obviously this shit exists. So yeah. But no, I'm glad. And Isaiah got that beautiful tribute at the end at the museum.
The statue.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's basically what he wanted, was recognition. He didn't want praise, but he's he did some stuff for the country, and they just turned their backs on him. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see more of that, more of his story. I just picture him with Captain America suit. Maybe he never got one, probably not, but I kind of, can't help but to imagine, a mission where he did tackle the Winter Soldier. That would be cool. I'd love to see that. Different, a period piece, whenever they fought. But yeah, I thought, overall, great. And, I think the biggest criticism these shows get is well, the finale wasn't the greatest or whatever, but they don't release them all at once. And I think that's maybe hurt them, but I don't mind. I understand what it's all about, and yeah, I'm okay. We don't get all at once, so.
Well, it's a good way to ensure that they still get their subscriptions every month.
Exactly.
Too.
Yep. Yeah, it's smart.
If you've got a 6-week, you've got a 6-episode series that releases once every week, then obviously you've got to pay 2 months to watch the entire thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's kind of smart to do it that way, but
it is smart, and then you're not, you still have fuel, in the fire. Let's say, it's not just like boom, nitrous, and we're out. We got nothing.
Well, and it's good to have that discussion with it too. Like throughout the week, you'll see analysis of the episodes and stuff like that on YouTube, and I think that's cool. Not only from a content standpoint, but just from being a fan watching it. Like it's so cool to see people discussing these things that have been that we've been waiting for since we were kids, and now all of a sudden we've got all this stuff. All these properties that are coming out and
all these theories
being discussed on huge platforms, and who's this, or did you catch this little Easter egg? This actually belongs to that person, and
right.
It's kind of cool to see things like that.
Yeah, and if they don't pan out, then it's like a disappointment. It's like, well, it's not their fault. It's your fault for getting all these theories going.
You got
reading too much into it. But it is fun.
Hopes up.
Yeah, it is fun. I remember WandaVision had several videos I was watching. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool! Like the design and things, and
yeah.
But yeah, overall, great show.
So what's the next series coming out? I think Shang-Chi.
Oh, I think it's Loki, isn't it? Shang-Chi is actually a movie, isn't it?
Yeah. No,
is Shang-Chi a movie, or is it a show?
It could be. It could be a movie. I thought it was a series.
I did too, but
no, I think you're right. Loki.
Yeah,
I think Loki is the next one coming out.
That's going to be a trip. I think that's going to be like WandaVision.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad Tom Hiddleston got to play Loki again.
Yeah.
He, I know, how when they interviewed him after, or at the premiere for Infinity War, he was emotional. He was like, he said it out loud, yeah, this is the last time I'm playing Loki. And then I don't think he realized it until he said it, and he got really emotional with it. He's like, oh, wow, I'm not playing this character ever again. So
interview over.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. They're bringing in Owen Wilson. They're kind of making it this, time police kind of thing.
Right.
So, I doubt we'll see Loki come back up into the main MCU. I think this exists entirely outside of it.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. I 100% agree. And then you got Hawkeye. And then we got the movies, so we're all
Hawkeye's coming out too.
We're all set, pretty much. It's exciting. It's a lot.
Yeah, I will probably be keeping my Disney Plus subscription for a little while longer anyway.
Yeah, because then they'll have Star Wars come out soon. I think Boba Fett is.
Boba Fett comes out in December. Book of Boba Fett comes out.
December. Yeah, they got us, man. They got us.
God,
we're prisoner.
They just suckered us. They suckered us right in with WandaVision.
They did.
I guess they suckered us in with the Mandalorian, and then we just kind of stuck around.
Exactly. That's what they did. It was all by design.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That was a great series. I think I'll rewatch it again and binge it. I think I want to get another look at it.
Yeah.
Great action sequences. Did a great job.
It's the way they did it, it's very digestible.
Yes.
I mean, at the time when you're waiting all week to see the episodes, they're like, really? That's only 30 minutes? This sucks. But
yeah.
That is kind of the thing I can see about it is binging it. At least you can, if you watch it all at once, it's kind of like a 3-hour movie versus
exactly
6 30-minute episodes or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, it's something I'll probably go back and watch again too. I mean, kind of like I did with the MCU movies leading up to WandaVision. I was like, oh, I didn't notice that before.
Right.
Or this little thing popped up. I'm like, oh, that makes sense now. And So,
I know it's written very well, and they crafted the universe, very carefully. So it's paid off, and yeah, this new phase is probably gonna get even better. So yeah,
well, they never do anything by accident.
no,
Either,
they
even
don't.
if something seems
Yeah,
arbitrary or some little thing, like it's, who knows, maybe 10 years from now we'll have a Rat Venger movie.
he could.
Like we'll we'll find out that the rat that saved Ant-Man was really Kang the Conqueror in disguise or something.
They could go there, man. They could go there. Like it's
You never know.
it's
Anything can
historical.
happen, man.
They'll probably tackle almost everything in the comics.
Yeah.
It's something.